Okay guys, let's have a little look at cable.
Matron, take them away.
And a warm welcome to one and all. If it's your first time here, I'm big fella Scruff. Sitting next to me is Wonderwink, who's wondering when we can go on holiday. Well, that'll be next week, so you'll have to hang fire.
Only a week.
It's only a week. Get in. We're supposed to be on a wind down this week, but as normal, I'm wound up. And, well, we're going to jump on the charts and see what we can find. So let me just flick this over. I'll put it on the big screen so you can see everything. We're about to enter into the market. Well, now, let me just drop an order on because it's just about to trigger. Right, there we go. And then I can talk you through what we're doing. Okay, just drop this down onto 5 minutes so you can actually see it. There's the trigger there. And we're looking to get down pretty much into this cluster point. Maybe it's even down as far as here. And why am I doing it? Well, I'm doing it for the guys in the squad, and it's really for the boy wonder. So a little shout out to Yanis there. He loves cable. He genuinely does. And I said I would look at it this afternoon. No, I didn't want to particularly watch it this morning because it was coming in for a news announcement. And I like to trade the aftermath rather than in it. Now, I did do a trade earlier on this morning, which was on euro dollar, and I had to sort of manage it in one thing and another. And then I've had a bit of a break, and here we are. So let's have a little look, see what we're looking at. So, if I was to take this out to a daily, just to see it to start with, what we can see is this has had a colossal run up. It's just screamed up. But now it's found this level. Okay. And this is a good high impact level of interest. Why? Well, because the market has turned radically here before. And that's what markets do. They push down, they push up. Now, as we come into this level, if we look to the far left, you can see it was a cluster point in the meantime. So that's one clue. Now, another clue is this down here. All right. Now, this sort of gap, which was created on Sunday night, normally looks to refill. Now, it didn't try to refill it at all, as you can kind of see. So there's a high possibility it may have a go, not so much to fill it today, but show signs it's going to fill. All right, so I've got that in my mind. Now the next part of it is you kind of look to see where prices come from. Well, the price came from down here, so it's swept through, it's gone all the way up, and it's now finding areas here. Okay, hence the level. Now it has busted through, and it is having a bit of a go. So this trading arena from that red one to this black one is roughly where I want to play. I don't mind staging up into it, be relatively safe, because it looks like steam might run out. So let me just sort of highlight that. So as we come down the frames and we start having a look, well, this is the 4-hour chart, which highlights this level a bit more. As you can see, it is struggling in and around this area, and it's pushing through, right? Well, if it's pushing through, that could just be flushing out the top, all right? Because that's what markets do as well. Before they move, they'll go down, they'll probe, they'll test, they'll push up, they'll flush out what's up here, and then thump, down they'll come. And then, as we've just seen, if we go all the way back in time, we have clusters here, there, and everywhere. All right. Let's see if we can find some other areas. Massive. So let me just push this back slightly, because I want to show you where the gaps are. Now this is the gap here. And then I'll go back in time a bit just so that I can highlight something. So it's tried to fill so much, but that's left. And when I was pushing back, what I was looking for is these formations. All right, where you can see the market has swung on key levels here and here. And then down here, finally, thump down it went. But if you look at where the clusters are, they line up with all of the levels that I've got in place. Even here, this level was formed way back in time. And look, the market stalled bang on it. All right. When it pushed up, there's no levels here, just kept on falling through, finds its level, kaboom. These, kaboom. Now these are from weekly charts, so they highlight quite a lot. Okay, drop this down into an hourly, so we can now start and see what's happening in the here and now. There's your push up, drive back down into it, didn't quite fill it up. I mean, it's really down onto that level where it wants to go. Screamed up, strong sell, weak buy, strong sell, buy, back into the sellers, indecision, flush out. Now the sellers are coming in. And why are the sellers coming in? Because they've just clipped off the top of these here. So that gives us all of this area up here to play with. And it's not as big as what it looks. If we look at this, let's have a look, see what our measuring tool is. So from here up to there, it's 47 pips. Now 50 pips is your stage stop. Is not big, guys, not really. Okay, and then there we are, it's starting to drop into place just as we go. Happy days. So that's the structure based on the sweep, based on extended candle acceleration. Now if we're looking for the quick trade or the quicker trade, if it's going for full retracement of this, just put that up there, it'll push back down into this 127, which will be into this. Now I'll show you something on that as well in just a second. But the 161 lines up perfectly with a level. So if we are targeting and we want to be ultra aggressive, well, the strong directional move will come to about 50%. But if you look, we have some strong barriers in its path. So we'll just go for the 38. And why? Well, because look, markets go up, they go down, they go up, they come down. Well, who's to say that we can't just cash out here, let it relax, and then catch the next move down, working the waves. So we can see how far that's going based on that fib. So that gives us an extension to approximately here, because this is kind of working in ratios. Approximately there, just like so. So let's have a look to see how these line up based on the last drive. Well, the last drive obviously ended there. We'll just crunch it down a second so we can see where it started. Well, if you look at it, it plateaued here. This candle was the start of that move screaming up. You can either look at this one or this one. I prefer to look at the first color of the move. So to me, it will be kind of there where it really gathered momentum and off it went. Put your fib on. Just like so. And you can see where they come from. And then shockity shocks. The 50% of that move is equal to that 127 that I've just put in, and the 76 move is pretty much within a pip or so of that one. So when you're looking at ratios of market, they always marry up. You know, you'll be amazed how often they do marry up. Drop it into 15 minutes so we can start having a look to see what's going on. Well, there's your news announcement. Flashed up. Hasn't really changed because you've got 1, 2, 3 failures now at this point. So that's helpful. Coming back down to here. And what's down here? Well, it's the bottom of this. So even if it's going to flush up, it'll try and come back down, pick some orders up. Now, you can also put on a Bollinger Band, if you bear with me, to show what the market is up to, where you can see it's overly stretched. It's stretched beyond belief. But one thing I pay attention to is you can see the flare here. All right, let me just draw that in, I'll show you. There's the flare. All right, it's where it flares out. Now that's borderline straight up. But look at the bottom one. This one, not so much. It's curling. That's telling me the pressure's running out up here. It isn't enough to push them both at the same time. It's buckling. Okay? Well, if it's buckling, it's going to collapse on itself because it has to. So if I just remove that, get rid of these. Wouldn't look at a Bollinger much past a 15 minute. But now we can see it. It's coming in. Boom, boom. Small bodies from a big body. Running out of steam. Now, if you're just doing tight stops and one thing or another, it's very difficult to judge where this steam runs out. And these little quick wicks up can flush you out. So you can dip your toe in the water and then build a position backwards and you'll start making more money. Now, if we push that back this way, now we can see why it's collapsing, because this is how that other candle was built up. Strong, 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 but pushing down. Try to come in. Now the sellers are really starting to take over. And you can see a good steady decline backwards. Simple. So order there. Why there? Because it's underneath the candles as it was coming down. Picks it up. Could have got out there for a few pips, but I've got a conviction it's going to be a stronger drive to the downside. And then that's it. Let it get on with it. Okay, guys. Let me trade this out. See if we can get 50 quid, 100 quid, something like that, because I've done okay this morning. There you go. Following on from what I did earlier. You'll have seen this earlier on. I did the breakdown of the videos for you. And I just thought I'd come back to market and give you a little extra one for today. So let's play it out. And that's the end of that trade. Fantastic. If you saw my head bobbling around, just finishing the phone call off to Alex. So a little salute to you, my friend. I will get you down before you go in April. And we are going to change that sobriety. Trust me on that one. You said no, I'll say yes. It's going to happen. Private joke, boys and girls. Private joke. Lovely to speak to you though, Alex. But that's the end of this trade. It's gone to plan of sorts. It's paid me what I need to pay. And job's done. So what is the job? Well, I shouldn't have anything running. Got no tickets left. And there you go. 841 quid for a day's work. Now, the Euro USD, I told the guys about this morning. Did a breakdown for them. I expected the market to push up, which my sheet saw. And then I had my conviction and I stuck with it. All right, I had to do a little bit of maneuvering when things were a little bit heavy, but that's fine for the greater good. Paid off incredibly well. You'll have also seen the Euro CAD trade. I started that yesterday, let it run into the night as a set and forget because it was a very good opportunity there. That paid off quite well. And then obviously we've just done cable, which is pound USD. And I did that for young Yanis. Little salute to you. And if you don't know him, do find the Conscious Day Trader. He's smashing it at the moment and he loves cable. He loves it. But I wanted to show him that the old boy still got it. Check him out. He's a good kid. Love him to bits. Anyway, what about this? Did I love this trade? Well, I did. But I didn't fall in love with it. That's another thing. Don't fall in love with your trades. You know, have them as mistresses where they're a bit of fun, but you want to get rid of them. Simple as that. If you get married to it, take your house off you. Right. How did this work? Well, if we look at it, as we were discussing earlier on, said it was failing around this area. And sure enough, it has. And it's pushing down. And the premise of this trade was a drive like that can't continue. I mean, if you look at them, strong drive, runs out of steam, it comes back. Even in the face of a downward move, there's a hefty move in the opposite direction. So there are trends inside trends. Now, if you're playing the big game, the swinging game, you need a big stop. And why? Because of that. So your stop would necessarily have to stay up here. But if you ratcheted it down onto the top of here, this one might have actually took you out of the game, even though it ran all the way down here. So trade management is quite key. Now, in this, the idea is you could see the drive, wanted to see some form of weakness. And the reason for the weakness is because we've seen this, the gap. All right. So if we come down the time frame slightly, well, sure enough, strong drive. There's the weakness coming in that we're talking about. Now, what we can also see is the gap. It had a go at filling it, but it didn't completely fill it. You can see that here. So again, weakness, strong drive, plus an open gap gave you an idea that this would pull to the downside. Also, there's a fourth entry, which is this, which again is a strong directional drive, which will normally come back on itself. Big candles look to be filled. Why? They run out of steam. And that's what's happening here. So that was the premise. Watched it on an hourly. And if you look at the hourly, it starts looking at it even more so. You can see strong, 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 strong down, weak up. Even when it pushed down, the buyers could hardly even move it. Came back down, indecision. Buyers came in, tried their best. Couldn't really hang on to any of the strength. Thump, down it came. Well, if it's coming down, this is going to start looking to certainly find this. You know, it's going to come down and look for that, which it has, you know. And if we're looking at just the basic points of this candle here, which is there. There it is there, 38. Bang on this level to the pip. So the fib figured things out. It's a good tool. It's a tool I use all the time. Now we can also go back in time. Just flick this back to a 4 hourly. Start having a look at the way things work out. Now we've also got a very strong drive here, all the way up, and a failure. Well, if it's a failure, where's it going to retrace to? Now earlier on in the video, you saw me do an extension, which was these blue lines. Well, if we drop a fib from the base of there all the way up to the top of where it's touched, which is that candle there, well, lo and behold, these levels that's just found, 23 and 38 to the pip, are based on daily candles. This is a 4-hour chart. It's found it perfectly. You come down to where the 50 is. Sure enough, there's a candle pause on the 50. And if you run it through, seeing the crosshair, pause. So that expansion pretty much came close in. Then the 61, if you come to it, again, it's where there's a stall here and a bunch of levels all the way down to the 76, and again you've got a stall point right here. So again, the fib has shown you the way. It can show you good solid areas of attraction. Now they're not always going to be pip accurate, but if they're in there or thereabouts, it'll show you which are the levels to start working and watching. Very, very good tool. Very good. So that was that. I think that's been a pretty good day. That's pretty much done me for the week, to be honest. I don't really need to do anything more. And I've had a funny week this week. I've had a funny few weeks, to be honest. It's been a bit testing. Maybe I'm exhausted. But holiday next week. And that's the beauty of what we do. I can take time off if I wish. I will be taking my rig with me. So when Joanne goes to the gym, I can maybe trade a little bit and just watch the world go by. I'm not a slave to the machine. I'm not a slave to the man, and that's what this job does for me. And that's why I'm happy all the time. All the time. And when I have a rant, I'm still happy because I'm a grumpy old man. That's why. Anyway, so that was today. See what we can find. If you're stuck, drop your comments. I answer every single one of them. If you message me, I personally answer every message. Genuinely do. And you find all my contact details in the comments or in the description. Very easy found. And you'll also find links to the preferred broker, BlackBull, because it has leverage and MT5 that you can use with our preferred prop firm, which is the 5%ers. And you'll get a 5% discount off that as well using the link. Spread the pennies out a little bit. So as always, guys, trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.